kinda lost and find. Ended the game in overtime, drawing of a new design, drilling that one earth of mine. Looking to the outward, speaking mind about words absurd, blurred to the curb, walking along the verge.
Hey everybody, what is happening? Ish de la Ish, and bringing you another part of my Madden 17 Houston Texans offensive ebook guide here. Gonna jump into the gun, and today we'll do wing trips week. It's kind of like bouncing around. This is a really nice formation, a lot of good plays that are stock. So I'm not going to get into probably the more popular ones that would be in here. Let's try and run a few things that'll be unique, at least to us. Then we can mix in with the stock plays. Shot post, motion be out left here. This is just one where I'm trying to get that. If I'm singled up and they're not running a light blue underneath, hit this one and you throw it right about at the turn there. It's going to carry you out of bounds. So, when I run it in this method here, I'm just looking to get that 10, 11, 12 yards, somewhere in that range in there. Get the first down. Every so often you might be able to turn it up, but for the most part, just assume you're going to get that catch right there, and that the only thing you're really looking for is if a defender happens to play underneath you, pretty much. If he's pressed on you but underneath, I would avoid the throw then. But then we do have guys out there that secondary ones, but when the computer pretty much played that same coverage over and over. Here's another way here. We take an A out, putting him on a streak, motion him left, taking X and putting it on a slant. This is when I want to read it to the right. I want to get good use out of that RB route. That's going to turn. They're going to get a speed boost on those sort. You can block the running back. I normally do, but you don't have to because he's on a check release. Same thing kind of goes for this. You just don't want somebody playing underneath this sort of route. But if so, you've got that slant following. The streak there should on the left from the A will allow the X to cross underneath coverage most every time. So you'll have that as a good fallback. So you're going to read the RB off the turn, fall back to X, and if you don't like X even, you do have another one coming the other way off the top out there with your number one receiver in B. That's a last read, but I will look there in case. So say they're in like a man, for example, and the user chases X, you'll be able to cross behind him with B more than likely, right? Like right in there, because he should be able to get separation on that route. So get into another one here. Like I said, this one's number 5, 13. So when I get into the plays, I look at them like that. Wide receiver post corner here. We're going to get a similar route, similar action that we used to get on the Y circles last year from the Ram stuff from the tight end here. And then underneath, we're going to get the quick one. We are only going to be having 5 blocking here. So if they're bringing pressure, you're going to have to hope to get that Y out there real quick. But he is going to have the little burst. We got B. We're going to be putting he's going to be slanting off on the right side there. And there's really what I'm hoping for the most is to get that tight end out there in that space. Hopefully, if they're going to run like a light blue, run like a cover 2, something like that, they're not going to have somebody out in that area, or they run even anything out there where they have somebody shallow. He'll be able to get behind that. But if not, you just check that one down and move on. You definitely don't want to force it. You do have a curl also on the right in case he's only got, say, a single user out there, nobody else, linebackers helping him, he's playing wide. You'll have that sitting there because more than likely he'll be running around. So you do have the drawback on that one. Again, the running back out of the backfield, any of those types of routes normally really, really good, really effective, because he's got to have somebody sitting in the flats. And if you have somebody sitting in the flats to stop that, then more than likely your tight end's going to be open. And if somehow you got both those locked down, more than likely you're going to have to look to the slant. Now, the only thing that I have issue on this one is because you're blocking 5, you're not going to have great coverage. So you just have to keep that in mind with the watching. I'm not really going to run this play against somebody who's bringing tons of heat. So you kind of pick and choose that. If so, you're going to be kind of limited. So you will have the running back and the slant off the right would be like quick reads you would go to on something like that. But otherwise, in man, even depending on how good your tight end is, in man that play will still work. You might have to get a medium lob over the top to pull it in, but still optional. But the running back in the slant will pick that up. Next one here, we're going to be looking at the slot wheel. A little different, and again, I think this one's probably Cover twos, one of the bigger ones I'm going for down the sidelines, but you can sometimes split coverages with the RB coming out and up. I normally don't like those routes on the inside, but this one has enough separation, and with the other route, they kind of work well together. And then you've got checkdowns underneath, and then and I also, when I take the drag, it's on that to begin with, but it's a delayed one, so I want that ahead because I want that drag to have separation on the B, because when you're looking at progressions, you're going to watch these guys on the left here. You're going to watch them break apart, and right then you should know if they're viable or not. Right there, man on man, nobody over the top. You got a good receiver out there, you're going to get it. That one's not great. I'll run that one again here in a bit. But if you've got a good receiver, that's a touchdown. If they've got manned up and maybe like a cover one, but again, people shouldn't run too much of that. But here you go. This is a sideline pass to hit this. This will work, like I say, cover two, that will smoke it. You really are throwing that at, I would say, about like a 10 o'clock bullet, 10, that angle towards the sideline on that. I don't go full left. Sometimes I do, but I'm just trying to hit that. You need to get really get that touch pass down. And on that one, like I say, it's going to be a sideline bullet in most cases on a cover two, because you don't want that, because otherwise the safety can still fly down. So it's that gap after that release, and then you fly. That's what you're looking for. Here, we didn't even get a great break, and we still got behind the guy on it. So you see, normally that's one of those plays where, given time, if you've got a speedy receiver, he will outrun the coverage out there. Otherwise, if I see and I got good separation off that break, then I throw that sideline right there. That one was probably closer to an actual straight 9 o'clock. But just ideas on how to make that play work there. So next here, let's see, we'll get up into the next one, and I'm going to look at the wide receiver corners here. Let's see, I mean, fairly basic one. We're not going to have to do a lot on this play. I see there, you got a drag normally. I really just like the slant on this. This is more of a play that I'll run a little bit on a quick hitter. If I don't like to read what I get there, I can hit the quick slant, and that'll be there quite a bit. You'll have that little gap there, but also in man, you're going to have beaters across then because of that. I'll normally block up the running back, but again, you can always, on a check release, it's up to you. There we go. Like I say, because the way those are, more than likely, when you run slant underneath somebody, he's going to be open. On occasion you might have to wait a second there. Like he was underneath, so I just had to get behind him. I even threw that a little late, but so there is the quick read on that. But again, you're going to have these other routes. And on those, again, I will bullet those down and away and kind of just maneuver the receivers. The more you guys start controlling the receivers after a lot of those catches and making those lead throws, it starts becoming easier and easier, and you start figuring out what gaps you can start throwing into. So that's why practice is really, I think, essential until you get a good feel for that, because there's a lot of stuff that I'll run plays on that I have a lot of success with. But people, if you're using them and not using the right touch on the ball or the right pass lead, because most of my touches are bullets anyway, right? But if you're not using that or the right pass lead and maneuvering your receivers afterwards, you may not have as much success. So here's a handful of plays here to get this out, and I've got a lot more to come. So thanks for checking this one out, guys. Peace.